didn't save you. Lestat did.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, it was Lestat all along. After everything, it was Lestat. He saved Louis during the trial, and I am going to explain to you why that is and everything that surrounded possibly the greatest episode of the 2 seasons combined. So, let's get into it. As we know, Santiago finds Claudia's journals, in particular the one written in Lestat's blood, which basically outs them for their involvement with Lestat's attempted murder at the very least. So, she and Louis think Lestat is dead, and we know that he's well and truly alive. Now, Lestat knew for quite a while that he would have his justice, that he'd have his revenge. He was literally rehearsing how Louis and Claudia would die. I don't imagine he gave much consideration to Madeleine, whether she lived or died, but he had time to really process what was going to happen. He had also already seen Louis and Claudia more than once, I imagine. They just hadn't seen him. However, nothing could compare him for the real deal, up close, face-to-face confrontation. And that's exactly what happens to Lestat when he sees Louis and Claudia. He feels more anger when he looks at Claudia, but he softens after seeing Louis. What Lestat wants more than anything is for Louis to understand how much he hurt him, not just physically. He wanted Louis to properly remember the sacrifices he made for him with all of the emotional distress that Louis brought to the table. He highlights several aspects from their relationship, including that big fight they had from season 1. Lestat tells his side of the story. The truth, it appears, that he wasn't initially as aggressive as Louis made it out. It was more so Louis attacking him, while Lestat tried to reason with him, until eventually he gave in to his own anger and ends up dropping Louis in a freefall. Or how about Claudia's making? What we see in season 1 is Louis' account of what happened, but as we know, Louis' memory is hazy, and his inability to deal with emotionally compromising situations causes him to subconsciously block out and change certain parts. Lestat explains how he did not want to create Claudia, how he pleaded with Louis not to make him do it, that she was far too young and it would have dire consequences on her psyche. Louis couldn't live with the guilt of letting her die. He even tried to change her himself, and Lestat had to stop him because he didn't know that he had to drain Claudia first. It's only when he's telling this to Daniel that he truly understands that Lestat was telling the truth, and this makes Louis finally acknowledge that his own accounts may not be entirely factual. When it comes to the trial, Lestat is initially headstrong. He's angry and he is adamant on following through with what's about to happen. He shows no sign of weakness, and you think as a viewer, well, I did anyway. Okay, he means business. Things are gonna go down. But as the trial continues, he goes off script several times, much to Santiago's annoyance. Even when Santiago tries to push Lestat's harmful actions towards Louis in his favour, Lestat takes responsibility for them. He owns up to his wrongdoing, which tells me that he just wants everyone to be held accountable for their actions. He doesn't want favoritism, he only wants justice. And when it comes to the sentencing, the only one offered a reprieve is Madeleine. She has the choice to join the coven as she did nothing wrong. She played no part in the attempted murder of Lestat, but decides she'd rather die with Claudia, her true companion, and the Theatre des Vampires just say, okay. Most likely because they would expect some kind of revenge if Madeleine was just allowed to walk free. So Claudia is then sentenced to death. We all knew that was coming. We know she dies in the books. We know she dies in the movie. But when it comes to Louis, Lestat uses his mind gift to infiltrate the audience's minds into saying the word banishment instead of death. To mentally manipulate so many people almost causes Lestat to hemorrhage, but he holds strong for Louis. Once again, Santiago is furious, but as we know, they have a punishment for Louis. Lestat, despite being angry and hurt, could not bring himself to watch the person he loved more than anything die, especially right in front of him. That's the reason, guys. There's no super in-depth explanation for why he saved Louis. Lestat just couldn't watch him die. But here's where the detail does come in. Here's where we have some sort of an explanation that surrounds this whole situation. Lestat knew that Louis and Claudia did what they did for a reason. Especially Louis, because overall, he wanted to leave Lestat. And Lestat really is well aware of that. He saves Louis, yes, but he doesn't rescue him, and there's a big difference. He leaves Louis to the will of the Coven because if Louis doesn't want Lestat in his life, then Lestat will not play any further part or role in it. Louis will have to fend for himself, and that's why Lestat didn't go all ancient blood power and, rescue Louis and then run away. He could also still feel his connection to him as his maker, so he'd have known if Louis was killed. Lestat wasn't actually all that bad. He's made out like he's the root of everything that has gone wrong, but Lestat never pursued Louis again. He never looked for him, never contacted him, nothing. He was truly and finally letting him go. At the end of it all, he just wanted Louis' happiness. So, when the truth finally comes out, and Armand is found out for the liar that he truly is, Louis realizes how much Lestat cared for him, and he goes to track him down, where they reconcile, and Lestat informs him he's going on tour, which is a beautiful little Easter egg teaser to what we'll get in Season 3. Lestat's band, his concert, revealing himself to the world, and of course, Akasha. Now, I don't know if this is just going to be, the takes of the vampire Lestat, or if we're going to push towards the Queen of the Damned. I hope to God they don't mash the two in again, like that dreadful movie. But it looks like the Great Mother is coming, guys. Season 3 will be huge. Anyway, before I go, I just wanted to highlight something about the Vampire Chronicles books, and especially the TV show in terms of factuality. Everything is from the perspective of the person that's telling the story, so it means that there may be a crossover of conflicting stories. Personally, I love that. It always has me wondering what account is actually true, who is being factual, who's telling the truth. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I'll catch you soon with the next.